Hello, beautiful smell goods. Welcome to the Fragrance Anthology Review channel. Now, if you are new here, I am so happy you decided to stop by. Please stick around and hopefully you find something worthwhile and interesting. If you're a returner, welcome again. Good to have you. Let's get into today's content. Now, what do I have for you today? Today, I am looking at what I'm calling the Mayar Triplets. If you have been following fragrance related content at all, then they're probably not strangers to you because there was quite a buzz about them a little while back as they got released. And I did actually, number of the reviewers I follow myself did talk about these. I've had them in my collection for a while. But as I looked at them, I thought, hey, let me bring it to you and kind of share my thoughts with you as to what I think. Now, in the fragrance verse, I think these will be considered oldies, right? But because just at the rate of releases, you can barely keep up with the rate at which these fragrances are being released. But that said, even if they're oldies, are they legacy level oldies or were they just nostalgic noises? Well, let's look at them and find out. I'll share my thoughts on them with you, each in turn. So let's get right into it. So with these three fragrances, as I call them, or the triplets as I call them, one to me is more fresh, the other is tropical, and the third is more sultry in nature, more decadent, and a thicker feel to it. So let's start with the original release, and this will be Mayar, the one in the pink bottle. This is the original release. It was the first to come out. And to me, it gives a very bright and fresh feel. I have heard it compared to Angel Nova, and I don't own Angel Nova, but I have smelled it. So I can see the comparison because, I've smelled it enough to remember what it smells like. I can understand the comparison, but I would say they live in the same neighborhood, not exactly in the same house. So let's spray the OG and see what she's given. Fruits and flowers, and that's it. Almost champagne freshness, as I mentioned. And yeah, similar to Angel Nova, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd probably say around 80, 85%, maybe. Yeah, I definitely get that signature in here. So on the top, you get the lychee, the raspberry, and the violet leaf. In the middle or the heart notes, you have white rose, you have jasmine, and you have peony. So it's very white floral heavy in there. And then in the base notes, you have vanilla, you have musk. And so for me, right from the beginning, I do get a greenness as well. Within seconds of spraying this, I do get a very vibrant, fresh greenness to it. And I think that is coming from the violet leaf, if you will. Violet leaf has a compound in it, and I'll mention that a little later as well, that gives that crisp cucumber like freshness, greenness to it. So it's not a bad greenness at all. It actually gives the scent structure, I think, and that works. It works in this particular fragrance, I think. Now, confession time. The first time I smelled this one, it was not a love. I don't even think it was a like. I didn't quite know what to make of it. Ugh. So much like most of my Middle Eastern fragrances, and as I've learned over time, spraying it out a few times and just letting it sit. And it sat for a long time to mature. And it was several months because somehow it got pushed to the back of my collection cubbies. And it was several months before I opened it again. And I have to say, it grew on me. Right from the beginning, you absolutely do get the fruits coming through, right? Followed very closely by those white florals, sort of like eager backup dancers, if you will. But those are strong in it. As it dries down, you do get vanilla, but I feel like the vanilla in here, at least to my nose, is very subtle. Unlike most other fragrances that you would hear me talk about, where the vanilla seems to really ground it, the vanilla here is very subtle, as is the musk as well. But that's not a bad thing because I think the nature of this fragrance is meant to be bright and effervescent. If it's fresh, that greenness gives it um, a really nice crispness to it, if you will. And so that's, oh, excuse me, what is that? And so that really is rather lovely when it comes to the fragrance. So what am I getting from in terms of personality? It kind of gives me the feeling of a very bubbly, effervescent personality, young, bright, just hopeful. And by that I do not mean juvenile in any way, because I can see really any girl, lady, mid-teens onwards can do this rather beautifully, right? It's not um juvenile per se. It is just kind of the personality it brings to mind, and that is one of joy, of lightness, and um oh, until I just knocked over my bottle here, but that's all right. Yeah, so bubbliness, that's what I mean. I mean, that's the best word I can think about it, but not in a bad way. So now here is a bit of a science fun fact for you. That crisp greenness that you're getting in here, that what I described as that cucumber freshness, crispness, is coming from the compound in that violet leaf called non-adenyls. And non-adenyls is that compound responsible. Absolutely, you find it actually, yes, in cucumbers, and that is what's responsible for that crisp greenness. So that is what you're getting there. And so that's, kind of science doing what science does for perfumery. And we are not complaining here. So what that's kind of my little fun fact for you. In terms of personality, I mentioned it's unapologetically cheerful. That's the personality I definitely get. It's effervescence. It's almost like a champagne bubbliness. In this fragrance, I feel like it's the top and middle notes that are leading the way. The bass notes are very, very subtle, again, as I mentioned. So, yeah, that is what I am getting in here. I will pull this probably in the spring, and summertime, most definitely. Fall, winter, not so much. That's not what it gives me at all. I think it will do really well in the warmer spring months and definitely in the summer months, right? So that's kind of when I want to, or I have worn it. This past summer, I wore it a few times, and that's when I plan to pull it out again. Um, to wear it more. So what else do I want to tell you about this? So yeah, if that's kind of the personality and perfume you're looking for, then this might just be your thing. And as I mentioned, it wasn't a love for me in the first spray. It took some time to grow on me, and having grown on me, I still won't call it a love, right? It's a like. I'll be honest, it's a like, but it's not a love. So if you're somebody like me that leans towards that, ambery scented, just, more perfumes with more depth and kind of darker personalities like I do, then this is not your girl. However, if you like bright, fresh, effervescent scents, then she may just be what you need. So check her out. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in terms of performance, having sat for several months, and I would say actually it's more than several months. This has been sitting in my collection for a year, probably. So having sat for that long, I'm getting about 6 hours on my skin. So it is not the most powerful of performance, but it is also not quiet in the first hour or two, if you get what I mean. In those in that first hour or two, you're going to definitely get powerful bursts of her, and then it settles down. And in terms of silage, she'll definitely leave an imprint, right? And again, what you get is that nice bright floral, particularly white floral imprint that she leaves in terms of silage. And now our next one takes us a bit in a slightly different direction, right? More tropical in nature, and I speak of the second release in in the trio, and that is Mayar Natural Intense. This one gives you like right on spray, and much like its sister, I will solidly categorize it as a floral. It has a good amount of flowers. It has some fruits on the top, and I'll tell you the notes in a minute. So let's give her a spritz and see what we are getting here. Tropical goodness. Immediately for me it puts me in vacation mode, right? So it's just it gives you that tropical vibe. So let me tell you about the notes, and then I'll tell you more in depth as to what I am getting from it. So Maillard Natural Intense, on the top it says it has fig, which you absolutely get when you spray it if you're familiar with the scent or the note of fig. It has coconut water. It has melon. You definitely get the melon when you spray this. In the heart notes, you have water lily, jasmine, and lotus. And at the base, you have vanilla, sandalwood, and musk. So when I sprayed it, yeah, I got the melon, I got the fig, and they are lovely together. I cannot say coconut water per se is a strong enough note for me to be able to detect. I think it's used more to just brighten up and give perfumes or fragrances more of that tropical feel, but I cannot automatically. I can't say I detected something that I would say, oh yeah, that's coconut water. Nope, not here. Not gonna lie. I know what it tastes like though, but yeah, in terms of smell, I couldn't say. And I definitely did get in. As it dried down a little bit, I got the florals. I got the peony, and I got the water lily. I think the jasmine is a little more toned down. And I love jasmine, so I'm readily able to detect it. I think for me, it was much more subtle. The sandalwood in it, grounds this, it gives it structure. What I find interesting is that much like its pink sister that I shared earlier, this one also has a greenness to it. I'm beginning to think, and it's my own conjecture, but I'm beginning to think maybe that greenness is on purpose, and it's, in terms of this line, it is something that was intentionally done. But I don't know that for a fact. It's just something that I'm thinking was done quite on purpose. The greenness in here is not bad at all. It actually gives it, this one, also a brightness to it, right? More tropical than fresh, but also a brightness. And it conjures up immediately the image of just being ocean. Like you are on vacation. That is the best way I can describe this. And I'm already thinking about wearing it on my next vacation. I'm definitely taking this one with me. I like it quite a bit more, I have to say, than I do the pink one, but I think you can tell. For me, anything with sandalwood in it is very attractive to me. So I think that may be a factor in here as well. So there you have it. But what is it really telling me? Okay, so in terms of personality, what is Mayar Natural Intense given me? As I said, to me, it's almost like barefoot elegance, just easy, breezy sundresses, big sun hats, sunglasses, seaside. Just I'm even picturing those big, bar in the giant pool area with the ocean behind you when you go to resorts, holding your, fresh tropical drink in hand. Like in terms of that vibe, I keep humming that song in my head, right? She drinking rum and Coca-Cola. If you know that song, that's just kind of the vibe this gives me. She's on a vacation. She's adventurous. She will book that. She's the personality that will book that getaway without overthinking it. So that's kind of the vibe I get. As I mentioned, in terms of, I will not advise this though, or even the pink one, as a safe blind buy. I think if you ought to try and get your hand on a sample before you decide. I mean, as I mentioned, I like this one quite a bit more than the pink one, but I can see how both of them could be polarizing. I think you're either going to like them or you're not going to like them at all. I don't see a very easy middle ground for these two scents, to be honest. A little bit of a science fun fact for you. So that fig note, or that fig, yeah, let's say the fig note that you're getting in it is not from actual figs. These are lab created, they're synthetic, they're made out of compounds like lactones and other compounds to give you that figgy, coconutty, like, tropical smell. So that is what it's a bit of, perfumery magic made in the lab. And again, I am not mad at that. As a scientist, I'm happy about these things all day. And I love learning about them and sharing these little facts with you. So, yeah, so as I mentioned, buy it if you want to. I think, I mean, at this point, the price point for these have dropped so much that perhaps if you blind buy them and you don't like them, you can give them away as a present and not feel like you wasted money, right? Because I think you can definitely find somebody that likes it. But if, again, try and get yourself a sample first before you commit. That is what I will advise. But yeah, if you're looking for that fresh, tropical, like vacation escape, then this may be your getaway in a bottle. And now, my loves, we arrive at the latest release of the three, and this is Mayar Cherry Intense. Now, before I even had got this in my collection, hearing the name and seeing a picture of the bottle, you can imagine what I was thinking. I was like, yay, maybe, ooh, another Tom Ford Lost Cherry dupe, right? But nope, thankfully and gladly, absolutely not. It is nothing like Tom Ford's Cherry Intense. Now, mind you, I love Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Excuse me. I love Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. I own a travel size of it. And because there's been quite a number of good dupes, I haven't quite felt compelled to get a full bottle of Lost Cherry. As I mentioned, I have a travel size, and that's fine with me because I have some of the inspired by or dupes that I think do really well. So I prefer to save my coins and, have the inspired by versions. My Tom Ford travel size is a pretty good size. I still have a good amount of it left, and I will review that in another video for you. So let's get back to Mayar Cherry Intense. This out of the three is the one that really knocked my socks off. It is such a fantastic, beautiful smell. Now, let me share with you, it is chocolate covered cherry heaven, right? It is decadent. It is has a quite a bit of sweetness to it as well, and it smells a lot like actual dessert. Makes your mouth almost water. Actual dessert in the best possible way. So let's give this a spray, and then let me give you the notes, and I'll tell you what my personal feelings and what I get from it is. Okay. Yeah. So the top notes we have here strawberry and bergamot. The heart notes cherry jam and cacao. And the base notes have vanilla, amber, and patchouli. Now, the in terms of, like, the top notes, it was actually good to see for me that it had strawberry because when I smelled it, definitely I get the cherry, but I was like, is that the only fruit? Because it felt like there has to be another fruit in there. So I guess it's the strawberry note that you are actually getting from this one is the other red note, the red fruit note that I thought I was detecting. So I wasn't crazy. So yeah, there you have that. So I mentioned that it smells like dessert in the best possible way. So would can this be classified a bit as a gourmand? Yes, because you do really get that cherry, you do get the cacao. Um, a moment of like confession here. If you asked me and ask, hey, are you a gourmand girl or do you like, I would say yes. But to a limit for me, I have to admit. Um, I love gourmand notes. I do not like smelling like actual food. So, sometimes it sounds really tempting when it says, oh, it smells like cake this or ice cream that. It's great, but I am one of those people where when it comes to food, love food as much as the next girl, probably more. But after I eat the food, I don't really care to smell it any longer. I want to be clean, clean my environment, and not have to smell the food any longer. So overly gourmandy fragrances get a bit off putting for me. But this one, I'm telling you, it's really well done. And that drizzle of that cherry over the cacao really does it for me. And we are not talking your like fresh picked cherries here, right? It's just dark, delicious chocolate and like thick, syrupy cherry in the most wonderful of embraces going on in this bottle. I'm hoping to give you that. I'm hoping I'm being a little bit successful in conveying the mental image of just how decadent this thing smells. It's really great. And I think if you appreciate those kind of notes, then you owe it to yourself to check out Mayar Cherry Intense. It is that breathtaking. I love it. I mean, I wear it more in this time of year, right? Winter time, because I think it's best. I can see this being a bit much in the heat. At least I will not pull it in the warm months because that syrupiness, that sweetness can I can see it getting rather cloying in the hot months. But for this time of year, and especially at like nighttime for special occasions or just a nice date night with your special someone, this is gorgeous. I'll just say, not to give you too much information here, but I've gotten my neck sniffed a few times wearing this, and I am not complaining, if you get what I mean. As I mentioned, there's vanilla in here, but the vanilla, again, is not the main character here. It's playing more of a subtle supporting role. But fair warning about this scent. She is not shy, right? It projects loudly, it oozes sensuality. You will be noticed, okay? And people will smell you. So perhaps that, like a little bit of restraint is needed as well. As much as I'd love to jump in the bottle, I will not advise that you do the same. So here it is. If you're the girl or the person who is more demure in character and likes to fly under the radar and not be noticed, then my dear, this is not for you. No, ma'am. You may want to pass on that one. So, yeah, don't say I didn't warn you. So, now my fun science fact. So, that smell you're getting, that combination of um, cacao and dark chocolate and cherry that I'm sitting over here swooning over is actually again lab created. It is the aldehydes um, in cherries, or the aldehydes that you will find in cherry, like benzaldehyde and the pyrazines that you find in cocoa, that combine to give you that rich, chocolate over cherry smell that I am clearly a fan of, if you haven't if you can't tell already. But yeah, so a little science fact again, some perfumery magic going on in the lab. So again, let me repeat my public service announcement. You want to use a light hand with this beauty. Okay, let's just say when I got it at first, even before it had sat for a while, I kind of overdid it on the spraying, and yeah, it was a bit much. So lesson learned and lesson imparted, hopefully, so you will not make that mistake that I made. Let's talk about its projection, though. Let's just say this beauty understands projection physics, okay? So she will be noticed, is why I am cautioning a light hand. On tillage, people will smell it. I mean, there is no not smelling this thing, and not in a bad way. It's beautiful. It makes, because it conjures up such a delicious smell in the brain. Everybody kind of wants to know what they're smelling, whether they're actually smelling a real dessert or who smells that delicious. So it is very, very noticeable. It projects rather loudly, as I mentioned, and on my skin, 8 hours easily. By hour six, though, It has toned down quite a bit, but you do get powerful whiffs of it even after hour six. So there you have it. She's a power hitter, and it just, if you like the kind of notes that and the kind of vibe that I described for this perfume, then it is worthy of a place in your collection. Mayar Cherry Intense. So for me, this one, Mayar Cherry Intense, is definitely the star out of the triplets that I have reviewed thus far. She is bold, she is confident, she is unforgettable, and is just so worthy. It's just, there are a few perfumes that I smelled and I was like, oh yeah, they got this one right. Actually, maybe I guess more than a few, but this is one of them, I have to admit. Lattafa did their thing on this one. And Lattafa, yeah, certainly you will notice as time goes on, I have quite a bit of Lattafas in my collection. They're a popular house and they put out a lot of good quality fragrances. Every now and then it's a mess, but not much as far as I'm concerned. So that's another time. But Mayar Cherry Intense. So please drop me a cherry emoji if you have her, have tried her, or thinking about getting it, and drop me a comment. If you've worn it, what are your thoughts? Did you like it? Are you more team, you know, cherry intense? Are you more team tropical in terms of the natural intense, Mayor natural intense, or are you more team effervescence and joy in terms of the OG Mayor pink? So let me know, drop me a comment, and let's get chatting. Please consider giving me a like. Please definitely comment. Let me know what other things you might be interested in seeing on this channel discussed. I'm open to all of it. Of course, it's a respectful exchange. And so all opinions and all thoughts and all feelings are welcome. Again, as long as it's respectful. Okay, we are not here to go for anybody's jugular. Perfume is subjective. You are allowed to feel how you feel about it and have your opinions about it, as I do. So let's just give each other the space to do just that. So, my beautiful lovelies, there you have it. My review and my take on the Mayar triplets. For me, in terms of my ranking, Mayar Cherry Intense definitely takes the crown, followed by Natural Intense, which is again my tropical vibe. And then you have, your fresh, effervescent pink one over here. So, which team are you? Please share with me your honest thoughts. I am very interested, please. So, share them with me in the comments. Let's get the conversation going. So, I am Susan. Again, this has been a presentation from the Fragrance Anthology. And until next time, remember, before you enter a room, before a word escapes your mouth, your fragrance has already started your narrative. So make it a good one. Until next time, thanks for stopping by.